live. Uh, okay, that's from last week, or I think, or have have somebody been? Oh, it looks like people have been talking in the chat already. Hey, everybody, how
Oh
are you?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Tim. We are live. Let me just share this out now that we are live. I have Metal with me here. Let's actually.
Assuming they can hear me.
Yes, I was just checking on that to make sure they could. See, you guys have been talking to Metals in the chat too. uh, how was everybody's weekend? How was everybody's New Year's Eve?
Oh, my New Year's Eve was great. Did you stop by? I don't remember, but
No,
I
no.
did a very late night stream. It would have been like an hour past New Year for you. But Marsupial hopped on, Flit hopped on, and Flit was drunk, and it was fun. And I think we went for like 3.5 hours straight.
Uh, yeah, I didn't definitely was not there. I went out like noon around noon.
Oh, that's right. You were gonna do that Christian single thing.
Yeah, and I didn't get home
Yeah.
till about 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't remember who wasn't in chat, but then I remembered that you had plans.
So, and let's share this in the Discord. Uh,
Anybody who missed that stream though, it's like 3.5 hours long. Watch it at double speed, but should go back. It's hilarious, especially because Flit was drunk.
and he actually came on live.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Oh, that's good. You don't get to see him too often live.
Well, you never get to see him, but yeah, hear him.
By see him, I mean his icon or whatever, something like that.
Oh no, I love hanging out with Flit, but man, he's so self-conscious. He did like apologize for everything 100 times after the video was after like the next day. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I came on drunk. I ruined everything." It's like, no, dude, that's exactly what I wanted.
So let's see. Let's see what the chat has been saying. There's some comments here that I don't think it went all the way back to when whatchamacallit, me and well, Chris said something early in the chat, and I don't think it's there. Oh, it is. Yeah. So my sentence is up. Am I up for reg parole? Hey, I said a couple weeks, Timothy. It's only been a week.
Yeah, I let him know. I said, and you even kind of were more flippant about it off air afterwards. It was anywhere between like couple weeks to a month.
Yeah, well, you had said if it would have been you, it would be a month. I don't know whether it'll be a couple weeks or a month.
No, I said if it was me, I would not have taken his wrench away,
Oh,
because if it was over in my area, my rule would be like, hey, don't prod the bear with the stick. This person was given a gun, and you were making fun of them.
uh, so let's see. Melvin 2 is currently at $835 American, I take it. Sentence. Your sentence. Were you where were you writing? No, I'm in wrench jail because I violated his rules. Laugh out loud, Tim. Chris says, ouch. Timothy's like, laugh out loud. I am just playing. I probably deserved it. Chris is like, he should be on in 2 minutes. Is he ever late? Sometimes. Not really. For the most part, on time. And then Metals here. I think he said it would be anywhere between a couple weeks to a month, but it is Rick, so he could have changed his mind since that off the cuff off air comment. Oh, laugh out loud, Timothy. I am just playing. You mean off air comment now or last week? Last week, you say Timothy's Timothy Olson's. Well, most likely I had it coming. Timothy's what up? How do we know you're live? 'Cause you can hear me. Weekend metal. It was average. That's New Year's. Tame but worthy. And Chris, if you want to hop on, or Timothy, you can actually hop on. It's in the Discord in the on-air room. Watched the countdown and went to bed. Timothy Olsen. How did that work out, Rick? Good, good, good. I did a lot of the setup and tear down for it, so it was what it was in that respect. Um, you know, I did a little dancing, but the dancing is more somebody teaching you, like, um, I'd almost say folk dances.
Oh,
Like,
you weren't just sitting there doing a box step.
yeah. Like, there'd be some sort of music on, teach you just, various different kinds of steps. You all more group type stuff. You'd have a partner, and then you'd switch a partner. You'd almost swear it's sort of square dancing.
A square dancing or like a line dance or whatever. Those are fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll be
but
right back.
I had done it before with the person that was doing it at an event a few years ago, but it was good nonetheless. Um, we did the countdown and all that. Um, I think that is worth the view. What is worth? Oh, seeing Flit drunk. Flit is cool, even when he's busting my chops. Oh, is Ote? What is Ote? Or okay, so we are caught up with the chat. I'll be asking Metal about a couple things here in a couple minutes. Um, but Chris, are you still here? How was your New Year's Eve? I know we'll probably find out a little bit about it tomorrow as well. When I'm on your show. If you want, you can put a link to your channel too, Chris. Maybe even do Timothy a favor and put a link to Melvin. Um, so we'll have Metal back in a couple minutes. So the Canadian Shield is pretty much for the most part done. There's a few more corrections that I gotta do. I'm here. Tried to open Discord. It's updating. That should only take a couple minutes. For the dialogue, that should only take. I'll have that done tomorrow. I'm on my channel. Timothy and Chris at the moment. And Metal's in the waiting room. Well, he's in the sort of in the room with me. I think he's doing something. He's on the panel with me. Just say hi. You just did. Okay. Want a taste? Hot. It's better since I've added the bunch of spices I did. Timothy says, hi, Rick's mom. Yeah, that's pretty good. The only thing I would have suggested, Chris, is only release it a few pages at a time. Since you put number one up there, I would have just suggested release it a couple pages at a time to try and build interest. But putting the whole thing up's all right too.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool.
I had to get the rest of that mac and cheese and start soaking the pot so it'd be ready to wash when I'm done with everything.
So, I didn't really leave myself a page or anywhere to do credits and the title for thing. What do you think
Yeah,
I'm
weren't you
gonna?
down a page? You were asking me to do if I wanted an ad before. Just use that for the credit page instead.
Yeah, well, I could, um, but I don't have much else to put on it. Oh, that's
I mean, it's a little tacky. That's
yeah.
listen. Why can't you just like how you have that ad for like the next Kickstarter or whatever? Like you have that ad. Why don't you just get like an old picture of the Canadian Shield or whatever that you've been using forever? Put that on the page and just put the credits over that.
Which page are you talking about?
Oh no, like because you still had like an empty page left when you were asking if I wanted to put an ad or something in something, right?
Oh,
Like
oh yeah.
yeah,
I'm just trying to get more than just my stuff in there.
I know, but it's just like at the same time, a credits page would be less tacky than that.
Uh-huh. Well, I do need a page to put the Indisha on too, so I guess the Indisha could go on that.
Yeah, just two birds, one stone. Knock it all out.
Yeah. Well, keeping the toxic behavior for the title of the quote unquote episode, would that be all right,
Oh
do
no,
you
that's
think?
fine. That's perfectly fine there. That doesn't look too like tacky at all. It's all of these other names and words that are everywhere. Now, if you had set up the page for credits ahead of time, like you could have had all the what's it called? The paneling up, and then you could have toxic behavior with the credits underneath it. That would have worked.
Yeah. Yeah, I just came up with the name for it tonight. I was thinking, but I didn't know how to spell it. Intoxifying, if it's even a word. But I'm not even sure whether it would
I don't
really
think it
fit.
is. Intoxicating is a
Y-
word.
Yeah. I think we got Chris there.
I'm trying.
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear
Every time I
us?
go into Discord, it's like, oh, fun. Actually went through the browser, though. I gave up on the app, and the browser works, so that's good.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's just some
Now, if
differences.
we could
Like
start the camera, I'd join you with a picture.
Yeah,
I don't.
well, nobody's seeing the
I don't.
picture, so.
Did they ever add streaming to the browser? Because it used to be that you couldn't watch streams in the browser. I don't know if it's still the case, and that was like the one downside. But like the app takes up so much resources on a computer now.
I don't know how that would work. Rick is the one who's the specialist here. Like
Oh.
at Discord, the only time I go to Discord is when Rick says, "Hey, you can come on."
Well,
I'd actually be more the specialist. When he has problems, he asks me.
yeah, I was going to say something to that effect. Timothy likes toxic behavior better. Yeah, I just wanted to play on the fact that Toxico's in it. He's a bad guy, toxic behavior. Okay, so I guess I'll set up the other thing. And as I got to figure out what to say for it, but also I did am taking your idea for the Piper's Pulpit. I just don't know what
Oh,
this.
nice.
There's and the fan art too, or some of it doesn't all fit. So, but Chris is on there.
On fan
Oh,
art,
nice.
Yeah.
yay!
Hey,
I don't know what I did, but yay!
okay, you can
Oh,
see. You can see. You should be able to see me if you click on me. There, Chris.
I'm still messing with Discord controls. Let me look.
Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
mean, in Discord, I have. I'm in Disc. I'm showing what I'm showing on screen in YouTube.
So what I'm
As a
seeing
webcam.
is colorist, letterist, UU, pencils,
Yeah.
Yvonne Crespo, writer Neil Burke, editor.
Oh, you're a bit behind it. You're looking on YouTube. right?
Ah, I think I must be.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You can come
If you click on the on-air room, right, and it opens like the video window, you can see his webcam, which he is projecting it through.
Let's see. I
There's-
can't find crap. Hang on, I lost you in the tabs, man.
Okay, you just gotta go down to the on air where we're supposed to be here in Discord.
That's okay. By the time he finds it, it's going to be caught up on YouTube.
Chill stream Discord. I think I found it. There we go. It was in a whole. It's a Mac thing. It was on full screen, so it pushes it into like a hidden area. Oh, I do see it. Yes, I remember those.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Mac thing. That actually explains everything.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't believe it, dude. I'm all Mac, and I know that it's a handicap. But it fits very well with my production of comic books because guess what? I use, of course, the iPad Pro for my art. So, yeah, I'm all stuck in Mac.
Hello.
Hey, Tim. So, yeah, here's some of the fan art that I'm using for the back issue. I want to put some other than the white behind it, but I don't know what yet. I might still rearrange stuff a little bit better.
Fan art for Canadian Shield 3.
Well, this is Canadian. Well, it's going to be in the back of Canadian Shield 2.
Oh.
And there's a couple that has Snowdrift in, like 3 of them. One has the buckler.
I see. The buckler.
Yeah, we were off air when I gave him this idea, but I gave him the idea that to fill in a page in the back or whatever, he should go with the old editorial route like a lot of comics did. And then I was thinking like how Stan used to have Stan Lee's soapbox or Stan's soapbox. I was like, why don't you do like Piper's pulpit or whatever? You know, you could put like a message.
Piper, yeah,
yeah.
Totally do that. Piper's pulpit.
Yeah, I've got it. The first little bit typed up there, as you can see, Piper's pulpit, and welcome.
Oh, it is going to be that. All right.
And then welcome all to the new feature of Cross Comics. And I have no idea what to say after that. It's supposed to be some sort of. I got to come up with it in the next few days, though. Otherwise, I'll just end up making it all a fan.
Just remember, avoid drama.
I'll try, but you know, it's.
Well, I also wanted to let you know that the entire time that I was editing or like giving you the notes and stuff, I was just listening to "Toxic" by Britney Spears on repeat.
You actually admit to listening to Britney Spears?
Hey, listen, "Toxic" is genuinely a good song. Okay.
All right, I won't hold my judgments against you too harshly.
I have nothing to say about Britney Spears, but I giggled.
So how was your
Each their own.
How was your New Year's, Chris?
I was all right, man. You know what? I gave Diana a controller and stuck her on Dr. Mario, which is an old puzzle game from the NES.
Yeah.
And I lost her. Like it was cool because I wanted to take a nap. It was about 7, and I woke up about 11, and she was still playing, and we played right through midnight, and it was great. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Did you take the controller away from her? So you played enough. Now go outside.
No. I was just like, keep going, girl. I'm gonna go up here and draw for a while, and she didn't even notice I was there, and it was great. I was like, so she's found a new addiction. She's been playing Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey, but she just wanted to chill. And like, I tried her on Miss Pac-Man, and she got bored. We did Tetris. She got bored, and I was like, hey, what about Dr. Mario? And before I knew it, it was no longer being two-played. She was like, can I try it alone for a little bit? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, practice.
You come home and she's playing like Doom 3 and she doesn't even know you can.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I keep pushing Emulated Game Store, all the old stuff, and she's slowly coming around. Even though she had the chance to play most of those when they came out because of the kids, she's being more patient with it. And like, she's actually progressing through Odyssey. I'm pretty impressed.
So
I'm like, babies.
She got bored with Tetris, yet Dr. Mario is just Mario's version of Tetris.
Oh, it's
No,
it's
there's a
even
lot of
more
differences.
simplistic, but I think what does it is the music, the soundtrack, and the little animated, viruses and stuff. It's a
Uh,
complete package with her because when on New Year's Day she tried to find Dr. Mario on her iPhone and she found a bunch of clones, but they all lacked that Nintendo charm.
uh,
Yeah.
So now she has it on the Switch.
There
You
was
know-
a Dr. Mario World for the phone, but I think they might have ended that. They were ending a lot of their mobile games.
Yeah, we couldn't find it, so it's probably off the market. But she really digs that game. I'm like, yeah, cool. I found another one you'll play, even though it's a puzzler. It's still, it's an option.
yeah. And
you-
hello.
you-
Oh, sorry, Tim. Hello, Good Night Spoon. Okay, go ahead, Tim.
I think a portable game that I did enjoy playing was the GI Joe one.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, they actually had one for a while. You could it was basically you could unlock certain characters and build your base up.
Okay.
Was
then
this
you
on
could
NES or iOS or
It
mobile?
was it was mobile. It was I think you could get it on the computer too if you wanted.
Very cool.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I remember the GI Joe from the Nintendo.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember that too, but I don't remember much about it. I just remember there was one.
I remember
What
it
about-
not being good.
Yeah. What about? Did you see the arcade they used to have with GI Joe?
Yes,
I might
that
have
one I
went-
do remember.
It kind of reminded me of like an old Sega game.
In its day, that was a good game.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I think I've played it on emulation since, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or
Oh, my condolences.
it's actually I actually enjoy playing it.
Let's see. Goodnight Spoon says cover local H cover of Toxic though. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean. What happened to?
I was
the-
asking my opinion of it, but I haven't listened to it. I have it pulled up. I'll listen to it after the stream.
What happened to the Orange Team? Haven't. Oh, you say haven't heard of it. I'll check it out. Where is Chris and Eileen or Aline? I don't know. Why is there a Moscow in the U.S.? Because there's lots of towns of similar
There's
names
also-
everywhere.
There's also a Hell, Texas. So
There's a lot of hells in the U.S.
It's a substandard cover. They're like their Wolf Like Me cover of TV on the radio was better, said Goodnight Spoon. Cut up with the chat.
no, I've been enjoying playing that Assassin. I've never actually played any Assassin's Creed, so this is the first one I've ever played.
Oh, see, then the standard isn't there. For me, like, I just stopped caring about them after 4. I kept trying to play them, but I just didn't find any of them fun after 4.
Isn't it technically all the same game though? I mean, I've seen the first one. It seems like it's the same game repeatedly.
They changed some things from like version to version. They also all have their own story. But
Yeah.
also the story stopped being worth playing after 4 too, so that's probably what killed it. Like if you're gonna play a game that's got a lot of the same mechanics over and over, you have to move it with the story.
Hello, Massive Panda. What's going on? Just a few of us here in the chat on the panel talking about whatever. We have Timothy Olsen of
Yep.
Melvin. We have Metal of X Dynamis Chaos. And then we have Chris, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, of Hero Shack Press.
Yes, I'm still awake, and it's Tim Ulevich.
Tim Ulovich.
Yeah,
What?
but I don't really care if people get it right. You can mess that up.
I just
I
call
grew
him
up with
Chris.
Yeah, that always works too.
Call him Chris.
Growing up, like I was always the kid, they would say, like in attendance, Chris, toot. I'm right here. Thank you. Okay. Because they never try to pronounce it. They always got scared from it.
And
Substitutes.
I'm not coloring anything tonight. Right now, I'm just drawing, finishing up from last week, doing my character Piper, which, well, I don't know when he'll appear in the comics. And then we're talking about whatever, and of course, interacting with the chat. I was showing
Yeah,
off.
that's another thing about Discord though. You can't see the chat without having the YouTube chat open, right?
Yeah,
Pop
that's
out works though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you just have it over top of the Discord too, because there's not a
Yeah.
lot to see in the Discord.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and starting Saturday, me, um, yeah, Chris, and
Mm.
for those that remember, him, Mighty Geek Studios are going to be getting together and doing a live stream on one of our streams of drawing whatever. Each of
Yeah,
us.
Diana was reminding me of that.
We're going to be working out a few more of the details for it tomorrow night on Chris's stream, which takes place at 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, no pre-show.
Yeah, well, the pre-show was just other people's videos mainly. Well, some of yours.
I liked it though. I loved sharing like other people's trailers and stuff.
Whatever. Do you still share any Frog Leap Studios?
Oh yeah, but I didn't do it last week. Last week because I was pretty sure it would be the last one. I just ran a bunch of comic trailers. But Frog Leap is like part of my daily listening. Or Frog
Oh, I
Leap,
like
isn't
Frog
it?
Leap.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy
Yeah,
who does
they-
all the metal covers and stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, sometimes a lot of times it works. There's some I don't really care for because it's like, oh, that sounds stupid. But
Yeah, he doesn't hit it on every single song, but I'd say 70% of all his covers at least.
I
And some
think
of them
his,
are like so good I don't even hear the
Man of
original
Constant
anymore.
Sorrow cover was probably the one that sold me on it.
what about his cover of Ballroom Blitz?
I don't know that
Yeah,
I've
that's
actually
pretty
heard that one.
That was a good one. There was one where they're doing a what time you were? Hold on, 8:30. God, I didn't interrupt. They did a Pantera cover. It was like during a band rehearsal. Hello?
Hello. Yeah. We heard you.
Hello.
Okay, I didn't hear you guys.
Well, we didn't say anything.
We
Oh,
were
that's it.
contemplating.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were
BRB.
contemplating.
Oh.
The sounds of silence. No. I'm thinking.
Anyway.
I don't know. Remember the one he did with that chick? I think it's called Dance Monkey. That one sticks
Yeah,
in my
that
head
one's a good
all the
one.
time.
That was a good one. Or they did a really good cover of a Toto song.
Yeah, they did Africa. And he also did a good one with another girl of the Sultans of Swing. I really dug that one. Like whenever he does real poppy songs, but if he hits it right, I like them better than the originals, you know. But sometimes he'll do a song it's like that just doesn't fit. It's okay, but that's not going on my music list.
Oh, hello! He did that song. That actually turned out good.
Yeah. He's really, he's a talented dude. I imagine he's making quite a bit of money off of it, but I don't know.
Good Night Spoon says, interacting. None of my permanent questions have been resolved. How does one get extradited within their own country? I have no idea. And then he puts, I guess, the best cover that the guy that you guys are talking about has done, or what he believes, or maybe it's from somebody else.
Which one is it?
I don't know. He put a link. It just
I can
says
click
best-
that link. Oh,
What was that, Chris?
that was a link to a song.
Well, I thought
Now I
it might
gotta
have
click
been.
it again. Hang on. It was Iggy Pop, and it was The Passenger. Hang on. Let me see.
Was it the actual song, or was it him doing the passenger?
I don't know if he did cover that one or not. It wouldn't surprise me if he did, though.
That would be cool. That'd be totally cool.
None of us permanent.
Yes.
Oh man. So I actually am coloring. I'm on the last page of Mangai Yoshokin number 2.
Cool.
And I got to finish up 3. Yeah, 3 acts, 3 issues, 3 episodes, as I wanted to call them, but I don't think they're going to go as episodes. Because, Webtoons calls their stuff episodes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I didn't know that, so now I'm like... Now I'm a little leery of it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. It might just cause confusion.
No.
No, that's
everybody-
okay.
Go ahead, Metal.
I was saying that's okay. For my webcomic, the entire chapters are called episodes, and they're like 20 pages a piece.
All right.
Well, it's my first webtoon, and I'm not expecting much out of it, but I'm excited by the prospect of, people just seeing this stuff.
Yeah.
I guess, like, the morning after we put it up, what was that, yesterday? My neighbor actually found it and was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't think my neighbor's ever seen anything of mine. That's, like, a good, thing. But he saw the link on Facebook. So he was like, hey, I wonder what those comics look like after all. So he went and looked, and that's pretty cool.
Let's see. I'm expanding Melvin number 3 by a page, I think, so far. The script's being edited.
So I'm gonna have to look forward to another page to ink.
No. Well,
Oh, that's no
maybe.
problem.
Yeah. It's not really. It's like we're taking full drawings that Sid's doing and shrinking them down to panel size. The last 3 panels are getting moved to another page, and then we're making, like, I think 6, 7 new panels. One, it'll work out.
Yeah.
So it's just making a new page, really. There was just some panels that were missing. It was some panels that would actually make some things make more sense. Yeah.
Those are my favorite kind.
What the heck?
I'm serious. When I'm doing a book and, like, I feel like something's missing, I love going in and, like, just adding a page to just, stretch it out a little, mold it a little more. And then once you do that, you got to be careful, of course, not to overcrowd the page. So sometimes it's 2 pages.
Right. So I think Melvin 3 is going to be like 26 pages.
Cool.
I prefer going back and changing things silently and gaslighting my audience into thinking it was always that way.
Yeah, I'm a little too open about the process.
Yeah. You're telling us on here. We're probably not going to go around and say too much to anybody, although it's probably not no big secret. And there's
Well, it's not that big. It's not a big deal. Oh, so some pages are getting edited and things are getting worked out. Okay, cool.
So, guys, I got a question. How do you deal with it when you get a super bad comic? And I don't mean like it's just like, inexperience or just a weird comic. I mean, it is bad. I wrote the guy behind it, and I told him, I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want you to know it's bad. But, like, is that, like, the best we can do? Like, how do you guys handle that stuff?
I don't know. I saw I saw a campaign on Indiegogo where it looks like the drawing looks like a bunch of scribbles, like a kid drew it.
Right, right.
You should give him a
Yeah.
bad review on Yelp. I hear that solves problems.
Well,
Well,
I reached out to the guy because it was an overhyped book, and I backed it thinking that, okay, this is at least going to be, serviceable. And then I went through it, and the more I looked at it, it really looks rushed. It looks like not a lot of attention was put into it, particularly towards the end.
Well, how did the artwork look?
That's actually what I'm referring to. The artwork is so bad that I don't know if I like the story or not, because it detracted that far from it. I was like, oh gosh. It was like a total like shock because I expected so much more.
yeah. Well, it could be. Well, there is things maybe because of the artwork. Like I think of South Park and Simpsons, some of Ren and Stimpy. No, at one point there would be but I would have thought nobody would have watched something like that. But there's some people that can get over the artwork. It's meant to be that way.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
Well, it also
difficult.
depends if the
Knowing
artwork
what the
actually
guy's done
services.
already, like after I've seen his previous work, I'm like, oh my, like somebody
Yeah,
got ripped
yeah.
off, and I don't want to tell the writer he got ripped off, but I'm like,
If
oh,
you-
this is bad.
If you want to see a real bad one, it's called I don't know. Do you want me to say? Oh, who cares? Counteract Book 1.
I
and,
haven't seen it.
Oh, I'm looking at the campaign right now. It looks terrible.
and then
Well, if it's any consolation, that was not the one I was talking about. At least I was going to drop to my feet if you said something like, it's this one. Oh snap!
and then of course there's what was it? The one that was a few years back, the Stealing Solo or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I've heard. What is that about?
Oh,
Well, it
that
was the one. Go ahead.
it was done after one of the sequels. The last three, somebody. It's about kidnapping Harrison Ford and redoing it, the movie or his
Okay.
scenes or whatever, something to that effect.
Sounds kind of funny.
It should have been, and I actually, from what I saw, it wasn't the worst, but it was not. It was not all that it was advertised to be, and it was like a disappointment for a lot of people who got it. Like I only saw clips on the thing, and yeah, it wasn't the best comic. I was like, well, I have seen worse. But then there were the things like when they mailed it, they stuck a sticker on the back cover and sent it out, like with no box, no real shipping.
Oh yeah, I heard about
protection.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad scene for that side of it.
Let's see, Goodnight Spoon. Anyone remember back in the day when they cut films for home video different than what they showed in theaters? A little bit.
I actually
Apparently,
don't
yeah.
recall
Like
that.
Blade Runner was one of the worst examples of that, especially like the home video version took out like all of the noir narrating that was in the theater.
Really.
Although, you know what? Now that you guys are talking about, I do remember a version of BT. I think it might have been a theater release though, where they took out all the guns. And Star Wars has done it with, yeah, and Star Wars did it with what, Jabba the Hutt at one time, right? They CG'd him.
Well, yeah, I can sort of understand that a little bit because it wouldn't make any sense. Like, why is he a human in this movie, but in the last movie he's a giant slug?
Well, with Jabba the Hutt, they added him in. What's his name had originally wanted him in that scene, but due to problems at the time, just not being able to do the effect or whatever.
Restraints,
Yeah.
financial,
Well, I mean,
and all that,
especially
yeah.
they got a much higher budget for the sequels than there was for the first one.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about remastering the first one where you have Jabba the Hutt
No, yeah.
just
That's why he
outside.
was able to be an actual main character in the last movie, but he wasn't even able to show up in the first one because the first one didn't even have the budget of the other
Yeah.
ones, and that's why they had to digitally edit him back in later.
Yeah.
I don't know. From what I remember, I didn't generally remember him at all. Remember, so although that one with the ET always stuck out because I thought even then, I think it was in the early 2000s. I thought, what a wussy move. It's I respect people trying to control guns and stuff, but it's hypocritical. Like that was part of your movie, and you're going to take it out now, and they just did something like that recently. Or James Cameron said he took out like I don't know a whole bunch of gun stuff because he didn't want to fetishize guns. And I'm like,
Doesn't
so
make
why are
any
guns in your thing at all then?
That kind of crap. You know that they're just pretending to care about that crap. You didn't care about that when you were making it.
Well, I mean, I think he did change because a lot of people do change what they care about as they get older, and especially in Jim Cameron's case. Like, he went all eco-friendly, all everything, and like the way he talks about it, he actually seems like he's crazy enough to care about that stuff.
Yeah, I don't doubt that he does care about it.
I really don't believe that when celebrities say that stuff. I don't believe you. I think you just think that's what everybody cares about.
Well, Cameron
There's probably
isn't
some of
just a
that, too.
celebrity, though. He's an artist in his case, right? He's like a writer, director. He does all this stuff. Like he is a very artsy-fartsy guy, and when he says something like that, I think he says it from the same angle as when an artist says it. He's just crazy.
I can go with him being crazy.
Yeah, he is a little. From what I've heard. Massive Panda says, yeah, I think the guns in ET were removed and replaced with walkie-talkies or something like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
heard
weird.
I heard they put him back in though.
They probably
They
did
put the
after
gun-
everybody got ticked off about it. It was like, why?
I
They
think
weren't
they
even
probably
used
did.
in ET, were they? I mean, they were they were a
They were
symbol of
police
authority.
officers
And,
holding.
yeah, but I mean, like nobody got shot. It wasn't like
Oh.
it's not like you tried to take him out of Rambo or something. Rambo now with walkie-talkies, no guns.
They're shooting up ET in his last words. You mother bleep.
Yes, the bullets somehow come out of the walkie-talkies in Rambo.
I would like to see like an expert editor edit out all of the normal guns in Rambo and replace it with Nerf guns and like cheesy sound effects. That'd be a funny movie to watch.
Actually, that might be worth watching. Yeah, I might go for that.
You know, the second to the last Rambo movie, I was watching that, and I felt disappointed because literally, you know how he defeats the bad guy, which we know nothing about really. He walks out from behind a tree and stabs him right in the chest, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember that one. You didn't like that, huh?
No, well, I mean, I was like, that's it. There's no like, huge ending to the movie. He just walks out from behind the tree and goes stab, and that's it.
Yeah, but he did have that good like 20-minute machine gun thing going on.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And we literally know nothing about the bad guy, like his background, what motivates him.
Wasn't he like just? Didn't the only thing we get from that was he was a child molester? Like he brought a child. He brought a kid in
that's
his thing,
it.
and it was heavily implied.
It was implied. Yeah, it's like that's it. Yeah, that's all we know about this creepo.
That's okay. That's all I needed. I was like, kill him, Rambo.
Yeah.
You mother.
But I
Kill
mean,
that man.
but every other whether the villain that you or any other action movie that you kind of got like what makes the villain tick. Or
Yeah, more of a build up.
Yeah, this was like empty calories.
Well, the last one had a build up, but it was horrible.
Oh,
I thought it was horrible. I don't mean to offend anybody if anybody
I haven't
really
seen
dug that
it,
one.
but from what I heard is like you wonder if he died or not because it's just him in his rocking chair or something.
Well, the worst thing about it for me was just that it was like Home Alone, Rambo edition, and Rambo really, I don't know, it was just so poorly laid out. Like I don't want to say too much, but yeah, it was not my favorite movie. Not
No,
from him,
actual
at
Home
least.
Alone, but with Rambo in it would be a funny movie.
Yes, if it was actual, it would be.
You
But like
wanna
it was
wolf
like
a-
he ended up getting all these Mexican drug cartels after him. So they go on to his like home estate where he's been living, like his ranch thing. And of course he's got tunnels under the ground and booby traps everywhere, and he takes out like, I don't know, there was probably like 1,000 of them, but it looked like more like 20 at first. But I never count the bodies, but there always seems to be more people dying than come to the show. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. It's gratuitous.
yeah, it's like Rambo just keeps killing. There's about 500 guys down on the ground, but only one bus that held about.
Haven't
50
you ever
people.
Haven't you ever seen Hot Shots Part 2 where they're making fun of that? He literally picks up a handful of bullets and throws it at them, and they all look at the ground and just decide to lie down.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Oh, the good old
that's the
movie.
thing about movies and TV. It seems like, okay, they show like 5 or 6 guys come in, and then there ends to like be 20 or 30 guys. It's like, where are all these other guys coming from? They weren't there before.
Casting.
That's
Yeah,
what's
we
so
need
fun
something
about
to
those
town.
movies.
We nuked a town and got 1 million deaths out of a town that only had 20,000 people.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Because the weapon's that good. It's so strong it killed people that weren't even born yet.
Yeah, that's what's fun about movies like that, is that they're just so over the top crazy.
let's see. Goodnight Spoon says, I'm talking pre-Lucas movies. I don't think he's an artist as much as he is a tech visionary for art tools. And then he also says, kind of like how Steve Jobs had a lot of demands and no skill of his own.
I mean, he did have a skill, marketing.
Well, and he was a
Marketing
great
is a
bully.
skill. Yeah.
The leadership qualities and bully assholeness, excuse my French,
Oh, well,
was a skill in
very
itself. Like that kind of pushing, like
Not everybody has it in them.
That's true. Well, it reminds me of Obstein Stain or whatever his name was from Iron Man 1. Tony Stark built this in a cave with a bubble gum. We're not Tony Stark. You know, like it just made me think that was probably how it was like being at Apple under Steve Jobs. What do you mean you can't make it without an antenna? You're fired.
Well, I mean,
So they
like,
had to-
convincing people that they want something that they really don't need is a skill too. Like, hey, you don't really need this, but you should totally buy it because it's awesome. You
What, you
can't
mean
live
like my
without it.
stupid Apple Watch that I can't seem to live without even though I never use it?
Exactly.
Literally, it tells time, and it gives me a little summary of each email that comes in. It's got a
There you go.
million features on it that I will never use.
There you go. See, but you
And
feel like
I
you
would
need
have
it.
bought it, but my family thought I needed one for all my other Apple stuff.
Right, Metal? There's a certain skill to making people want stuff that they probably don't really need.
Yeah, I would say so. I normally don't fall for that, but
Yeah.
that's also because like I don't like having too many things. I have to keep track of all of it.
All right, you're very minimalistic, aren't you?
I am optimalistic.
Okay.
That's a good way to look at it. I feel rather glutted. I'm looking around my office and I'm like, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens staring at me, and I don't know why. One I'm coloring on, one's a camera, 2 monitors, and a big screen. It's like, this is overkill.
Yeah, I've been through 5 years of not being able to own anything, so yeah, that's why I like owning stuff. Imagine like having a backpack and nowhere to live, and you see a window of like something cool, and like, oh man, that'd be cool to have. Where would I put it?
See, I've been in that situation, but instead of the where would I put it, I'm like, but would I even use it?
Yeah, I've run into some of that in my lifetime, but I'm 53. It took me like 50 years to start thinking, do I need that? I've bought a lot of crap, like all the money that I've wasted on junk that now I understand to be junk.
Yeah. And Goodnight Spoon says there's absolutely no skill in that whatsoever.
No skill in actually convincing people if they need stuff that they don't really need.
Yeah, but the point about Goodnight just pointed out that a lot of people just buy stuff because they're bored, and that's true. They need something to feel like they belong into it. They purchased
But that's marketing too. That's people don't realize that's marketing also.
Well,
they
marketing
do it in
got
such a
easier,
way.
though, and that's just a consequence of like people having more money than they did in the past, right? If you were to go to like I know just after the recovery of the Great Depression, you really had to work to convince anybody to buy anything from you.
Yeah, I could see
It
that.
is a skill. It's just the skill is more necessary in different times.
My mom had some of that. It was hard to get her to buy some stuff. You know, she was, I don't know, born in the 40s. So she didn't live through the Depression or anything, but she had some of that good old, whatchamacallit, frugal American life.
Did she
That
try
meant
to?
I got Atari 2600 when ColecoVision was hot, you know?
She ever
My
try to
dad-
shoot?
Well, they were
She ever
hot.
tried-
They were hot about the same time. Same time. Just well, I was gonna say Atari wasn't quite as good as Coleco, and it was cheaper. But I heard they were around the same price. But at least here in Canada, they were. And it wasn't.
ColecoVision was a bit of an upgrade. I'd say it would be an upgrade even over Intellivision.
Oh
But
yeah.
Atari, the reason my mom supported Atari was because all the games were cheaper.
Yeah.
Because it had been around so long and sold so well that there was like, I think it was $10 for an Atari game and 15 or 20 for ColecoVision. And my mom just went with what she thought was the hot thing. And okay, Mom. I never did get my personal computer with her. I had to wait till
When everybody had regular Nintendo, I got stuck with Commodore 64.
Ouch.
Yeah, brother. Let me tell you, the first Nintendo I ever had was Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, well, you were born a little after us.
Yeah, youngin. A Super Nintendo.
That's only because my grandmother bought it.
I got a Super Nintendo the year that Jace was born.
Well, I think it was my Nintendo I actually bought myself. I got some sort of job, saved up the money, and it was a stupid
Yeah, that's how
job.
I got my first. That's how I got my first NES too.
And then
I had to go to work.
Frugality was almost to the point that you became loyal to a brand. My mom liked a Nintendo, and it's like the idea that we would have any console in our house other than Nintendo was like blasphemy.
Okay, I'll confess I was that way too. Honestly, it wasn't until Sega Dreamcast that I started opening my doors, and that was because my son wanted a Sega Dreamcast, and then the floodgates opened. Then it became, Sony and Xbox, and Nintendo stuck around. Sega disappeared.
I heard Sega's gonna start making game systems again. At least that's the rumor.
Well, they've been making the minis. I don't know if they'll ever come out with a major one again, but I'd invite it.
Yeah, the minis are great because they play the actual cartridges.
Yeah. But I mean, if they want to come out, go ahead.
I had PlayStation 1 and 2, and then like this Xbox I have now is the first actual game system I've had in a long time. And I got that with
PlayStation is kind of what made my mom ultimately cave, because my grandmother accidentally bought us a PlayStation, thinking it was like a Nintendo console because she didn't know the difference. And once it was in our house and we were collecting games, her was like, "Well, we might as well get the PlayStation 2," and then so on and so forth. And by then we were already buying our own consoles, so it's like you can't stop us from buying a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 3.
Let's see. Goodnight Spoon says, Rick, give me $200 Canadian money, and I will send you the much needed 26-inch Pro tablet. Okay, that is tempting. And do you mean one that I draw on? Not compared to drawing on this one and it appears on the screen, but I draw on the screen?
You want to know if it's a screen tablet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would really be worth it. 26 inches, nice though.
Yeah.
I'm working on a 12:9 screen.
Then he's got Watching Eyes, Flying Saucer beaming somebody up, and a ghost. And,
Whatever that means.
And then second best cover. A link with the second best cover. XP Pen. Okay, let's see what XP Pen is. I think I've heard of it.
That's a brand that's been picking up a lot of steam. Like a lot of people have been going with XP Pen instead of like Wacom.
Really? Huh.
Well, Wacom's so expensive, you know?
Yeah. But they get away with it because they were the industry standard for tablets for the longest time.
Oh yeah, and they definitely have a line in on the pro artists and stuff.
Oh. Product.
Wow, I haven't looked at these in a while. I just pulled up the XP Pen site.
Yeah, same here.
I'm just drooling now.
Calm yourself, Chris.
Hey, this is the closest thing to porn I've seen in a long time. Holy cow.
He goes, I'm going to have to leave air and go be alone for a while.
I'm like a 24-inch monitor screen is like $600 with these guys. That's not bad. Brand new, I don't know. I haven't read the specs, but 2K Quad HD, 20 by 11, basically. Well, almost 21 by 12 inches.
Hey,
Shit,
that
that's twice the size of what I'm doing now.
I've got pencil and paper, so I'm good.
I used to be pencil and paper, but I can't. I waste so much time and energy trying to draw on paper. With the ability to edit my sketches digitally, it's just made the whole experience beautiful.
I don't know. I kind of like the I don't know, the danger, the risk of
that's because you're good at it.
It makes
I
you
used to
really think about what you're gonna do before you do it.
Yeah, no, I used to I would be the guy that would get like 3/4 of a drawing all like finished up, and I'd be working down on the finishing touches, and I'd notice something like that was from 3 hours ago, and I'd have to start all over again because I hated it. Erasing. I hated trying to go back and touch up. Where like now with the digital tablet, if I mess up, I can digitally correct it, or even just throw it away. But with the papers, I still have. Oh, Diana's got a pile that's about 3 feet high of old sketches. I think I'm supposed to go through them so she can decide how to archive them. She'll probably digitally photograph them, I guess. But
yeah, scan them. Okay, I click the cover and something goes wrong. I don't know why that always happens when I click link, or a lot of the times when I click links in
it was a music cover. I done clicked it.
You done clicked it?
It was hang on, it was No Effects Coaster.
No effects?
Prime.
Oh, he probably thought of that because I said the word blasphemy.
Why didn't he get a really good No Effects album like Punk and Drublick, or Heavy Petting Zoo is a good one, or Pump Up the Volume? No, those are good albums.
Oh wow. Oh my. So I just went over to Twitter to grab the link to the YouTube as I closed the window,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I got to see that artwork that you DM'd me.
Yeah, pretty bad, right?
It is worse than the one I'm talking about, but the one I'm talking about is nearly as bad in my opinion, especially considering I know the guy not personally, but I know of his other work. And I was just like, wow, I actually wrote the writer and said, I don't know about this dude. This is bad. I'm not going to say it publicly just because I don't want to
Right.
trash the guy, but I tell him privately,
Yeah, I get you. You don't want to be too nasty publicly.
But on the other hand, like, I'm glad nobody asked me what I thought about it because I don't know how I would answer that honestly in public, like we all have our rough edges, independent comic book, creators.
Yeah.
But this just looked like it was just rushed, just like unfinished. It was embarrassing,
Ouch.
and I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to keep an eye open and see what they do in future creative projects, but
Yeah.
I'll be less apt to jump in on backing it, until I see some samples.
Well, they didn't even have anything up on the page for Indiegogo.
They did, but it wasn't enough to let me know just what a turd it was going to be.
Uh,
God bless them, but it was yeah. Oh well. Live and learn, right? I mean, I'm not going to stop ordering books. I order books every month, and I get in trouble for it. I don't know. I love comics, and I wish that the old staples were still good, but I can't do the whole Marvel DC thing.
I haven't been paying attention to Marvel or DC at all.
Yeah, the only time I hear the only time I know anything about them is by hearing about them on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter.
I
I have
have
a
no
guy
desire
who
to.
still reads their stuff, and he DMs me panels all the time. Like, why do you hate me? Why do you keep DMing me these panels?
Yeah,
But it's just like
elder
I don't know. I
brother's
think
still-
Tim. You don't care about it anymore either, right?
No, but my older brother, he's still a Marvel and DC guy.
Well, like when they complain about Marvel characters now, it's almost
Yeah.
like I almost could. I don't know if I could care less. Like I'm like, so Wolverine's a girl now. Big surprise.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
Oh,
Well-
Falcon America Captain guy. Yep, I saw that coming. It was in the MCU, right? Yep. Oh, comics first. Whatever. I wasn't there.
well, actually, Falcon becoming Captain America was in the comics first.
Yeah, actually, it was.
The,
I mean, it's
the-
like-
the question I always had was, why can't Falcon be Falcon? Is he not good enough to be himself? He has to be a white character or something?
Yes, that's
Well-
exactly what they were saying.
Well, I sort of get it. There is the whole mantle thing of, or semi-mantle thing of Captain America, who becomes Captain America after Steve Rogers, steps down. I can get that. Should it be Falcon? I don't know.
In a way, though,
Or
the way they
you
handled
could just
Falcon,
kill off Captain America and not give the mantle to anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
That'd be well. Well, I mean, this is
the
how
way
fun
the
it.
MCU handled Falcon was kind of messed up. Like I thought he had a better character when he had the real Red Wing, and he was more not totally mysterious, but a little bit more mysterious about his power because it was all mechanical.
Yeah.
But this was like, oh, you have an army suit that nobody else has, but you have one, and you fly around. Okay. Like, why wasn't the Falcon suit mass produced for the Air Force, right?
Yeah. Well, it's they're such phonies about it that they did that States of Captain America.
What do you mean?
You didn't hear about that? And this is a story I've shared before that I think it's hilarious. But So every issue of States of Captain America, there would be a different Captain America. They had a Native American Captain
Oh
America.
yes, yes.
And then issue 4 rolled around, and they decided to have a Filipina Captain America, and her name literally translated to Vagina Hero.
Why? Why would they do that?
Well, supposedly it was to the creator wanted to honor a friend of hers, but a lot of Filipinos said that you should probably change the name of that character. And this is this is actual Filipino saying that name isn't what you think it means.
Oh,
Good Night
Lord.
Spoon says when his house burns down, he's willing that its mantle to metal.
I'll take good care of it. It'll be one of the few needless things that I'll keep.
What's metal becoming?
No, the mantle of the house.
Oh,
He's
the
willing
mantle
it
of the
to me.
house.
It's a
Oh,
different
okay, he's
mantle.
going.
Play on words.
Oh, okay.
So, guys, I have to go to bed.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for stopping by. And
Hey, I
coming
made a
on.
point to stay awake. It was hard.
I
Did
can
you
believe
drink
it.
any coffee?
No, lots of Coca-Cola, though.
No.
Now I'm going to be burping all night trying to sleep.
Hey, well,
Yeah,
we'll see you tomorrow night on your show.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, Metal, nice to talk to you, man. I don't think I've ever done
Yeah.
that before.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, man. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, make sure to put a link to your channel in the thing.
He already gone.
Well, he might still be listening. Make sure to put a link in your in the chat for your channel, Chris, if you're still listening.
I don't think it's happening.
I might
No.
do it later. It's amazing. I never heard from Pastry today about not coming on.
Oh.
It's all right, you know.
Wonderful.
She does.
Yeah.
Pastry doesn't have to, but you know, it's just interesting, you know.
Yeah, I'm semi worried. Just semi.
Yeah.
Why?
Foot was pretty harsh to Pastry on my stream.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
I was trying to be like, don't worry, Pastry. Flit hates everyone. You have to warm up to him.
Yeah.
Which Drunk Flit also agreed with.
Good Night Spoon says the mantle demands achievement and accolades of the highest honor. It's demonically possessed. You'll need to give it its own stocking at Christmas, or it will convert to atheism on Easter.
Wouldn't that be great though? Like that's how you get rid of a demonic possession. You can't believe in demons and be an atheist, so it would stop believing in itself and stop existing.
Oh, dang. But wouldn't you want to have a demonic mantle in your house?
No.
I don't know. I'm still considering it. It might be fun.
Yeah, but
I
where would you put it? It might be bigger than the house you're living in.
No, we got space.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't want it, but I know Metal would want it.
I do like bizarre, supernatural, and paranormal things. That's why I check out like curio shops anytime I see one.
Did you find anything interesting?
Not yet, but I'm still looking.
You're probably looking for a gremlin, aren't you?
I'm looking for all kinds of things.
Just don't feed them after midnight.
Well, you won't find
Don't tell me what to do.
You won't find a gremlin. You'll find a Yagway.
Mogwai.
Well, I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure how to say that correctly.
Gremlins are what happen to Mogways if they get wet after midnight. and eat. Does it have to do both?
Yeah.
Could it eat?
No. The eating is what turns it after midnight into a gremlin. Getting wet is what causes them to multiply.
Multiply.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of rebellious.
I know my
Rebellious-
gremlin lore, okay?
I'm rebellious in the house.
Yes, we have rebellious in the chat. Says, "Hey, I'm in the chat tonight. Sorry I'm late. No problem. No problem. We were just half talking about the fact that you weren't around."
Heard that Flit verbally lit you up.
Yeah, actually, I don't think Rebellious even heard almost anything Flit said. Every time Pishu jumped back in the chat, are like, what did Flit say? You know how Rebellious is. In and out,
Yeah.
ADHD or whatever, hard to focus.
What?
I'm not sure whether it's about hard to focus, just doing too many things at once.
Or finding something more interesting.
Good night. Spoon
More
says,
interesting than drunk Flit? What are you talking about?
I would find that interesting. I'm gonna watch that stream right after we were done here.
Good night. Spoon says that's why it demands so many trophies to validate itself. It's possessed with the demon of existential crisis. Don't tell me the talking food about the mantle. Don't tell the talking food about the mantle.
Oh, okay.
Pastry said they watched the rerun.
Yeah, like, no, Flit came in swinging. Like, very first thing is like, Marsupial, I'm here to tell you about all your takes are wrong. And I'm like, yes, let's do this.
So he was
It has
celebrating.
begun.
So it sounds like Flit was celebrating Festivus.
It kind of sounded like it. It's like, I got a
Yeah,
problem with
agreed.
all of you, and you're gonna hear it.
Thank God there wasn't any feats of strength.
Oh, yeah, because I would have won.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've never lost him yet.
Probably have more of an upper hand because he's drunk.
Yeah. Well, plus, like, the feats of strength, literally just wrestling. So that's more of a technical thing. I mean, you do need some strength, right? Like,
Right.
somebody who doesn't have any is not going to do anything. But it's more skill involved than not. And I've got more experience wrestling than, like, most people.
There you go.
Rebellious says he be an angry drunk.
He'd be. So I've heard.
He was a fun drunk, but, like, again, he was apologizing nonstop afterwards. I told him, no apologies here. Or you can apologize the other ones, but not to me. I invited you on. This is what I wanted.
You wanted the abuse.
But he didn't abuse me.
Huh. Because you tell him, no, this is an argument. He goes, oh, I wanted abuse. Oh, that's down the hall.
Sounds like he abused Rebellious and Marsupial.
Yeah.
We did actually have a pretty interesting conversation about the one that you can't really get away with these days. The whole computer-generated graphics and stuff, with AI. Which I already ran that conversation to death on the matriarchy the last Wednesday. But this one was better because we got it from the perspective of artist versus producer or programmer, right? So the person who sees it as like a part of the human soul versus the person who sees it as a commodity. And it was pretty good. You came to understanding the other sides better by the end.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You would figure it'd be kind of both sometimes.
Well, it is, and that's why like it's good for the one and not so much the other. But the commodity portion is not going to get rid of the kind of like solar discipline portion. In fact, they're probably just going to be completely different markets.
Yeah. Well, I just think that AI art is cheating.
I don't think it's art,
said,
but it's a tool.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Pastry said, uh, I hate certain things
You can do it, Rick. We believe in you.
that honestly not fit to be on YouTube that night. So, Rebellious hopped off.
Your brain is like frying, struggling with the pronoun thing.
Must
Yeah, because
focus.
I know Rebellious believes in it, but I don't, and I'm trying to respect the fact that she doesn't want a certain pronoun used.
The one you just used.
Brain struggling. Why?
Well, that's the thing with like pronouns, right? Is when you really can't have your own. They're an impulse. They're an instinctive thing. It's how you describe the world around you.
Oh, yeah, well, if it looks
Yeah.
And it's
like
also supposed to be used when you're not talking directly to a person, usually when they're not around. But it's hard with the internet, right? And I get why people are so focused on it on the internet, since that's so much of their life. You are often using pronouns to talk to about other people when they're basically around, because of how many people are in a chat. So they're like not in your conversation, but they're adjacent to your conversation, or like even in forums or
Right.
social media. Like it's a very complicated space.
Yeah.
But when it, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's how I see it. It's like, well, if it looks like a duck, it's a duck, not a turkey.
yeah. Well, like I said, I'm trying to respect that she doesn't. There
Yeah. There you go again. Yeah, see, it's
I'm trying to respect that Rebellious doesn't want a certain pronoun used towards her. But unfortunately, in normal conversational
dang.
English, it's
Yeah.
hard. And I don't want to use the other. Heck, I don't even want to use the other one when it's even appropriate for it to be used. That's how
Yeah.
frustrating it's gotten me.
Yeah. See, it just fried your brain.
Because I'm trying to go grammatically correct when I'm not supposed to be going grammatically correct.
Yeah, well, and it's not actually how that part of like the mechanic in the English language works or has historically.
Yeah.
People are changing it to serve a different purpose than it did before.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's inherently invalid, because language does change over time, though I don't see this as being a change that sticks. But
It
it
doesn't feel
would
natural.
be invalid to historic versions of the language, like the ones we were speaking just until last Thursday.
Well, it doesn't feel natural because it doesn't feel. People don't talk that way in normal life anyway.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel natural.
Well, I
that's all.
mean, in this culture, right? Because language varies. There are some languages that basically don't even have pronouns.
Educate me. Like what? I'm curious.
Usually they're closer to like a lot of Asian languages. Some African languages don't either. It's not to say that they don't have identifiers for men or women in it. Like they have the actual nouns or stuff. They just don't have pronouns. You would either assume who you're talking about. Like Japanese technically has pronouns, but they're almost only used in writing. You don't almost ever use them in speaking, because if you're continuing to talk to someone, you just don't say it because you know who you're talking about. And then if the subject is changing, you would use like identifier, like red shirt or blonde hair or whatever, or the person's name if you know the name, to change the subject. And that's like the Japanese language is very efficient that way. They don't want to use extra words they don't have to when talking.
That makes sense.
Rebellious says that Rebellious would rather have the he pronoun associated with Rebellious than the other one. But even that, for me, I get her. There I go.
Oh,
I get it, but even that for me is
Difficult.
difficult to refer. I don't want to. I don't want to lie to myself. I guess I don't want to be lying in that respect, and to me, it would be lying because although rebellious doesn't want to be
Right.
that, biology says rebellious is that.
Well,
See, I
just
normally
stick.
wouldn't
Just
have the problem with he though, on the internet, even if I heard
Yeah,
somebody's voice, and specifically it's because
yeah,
growing up on the internet, there's that rule that there are no girls on the internet. So it's like even if somebody had like a girl profile picture or a girl name or anything
uh,
like that, even if you heard their voice, you're like, no, that's probably a dude. Well, I guess everyone's a dude, but that's probably like a man or something on the other side.
uh,
It's even one of the rules of the internet is that there are no girls on the internet.
it may
Or
be a
what was
rule,
the
but
the
it's
old acronym?
untrue.
The old acronym girl was guy in real life.
that's funny.
Yeah, because so many guys out there would pretend to be girls for
Like
various
catfishing.
reasons.
I like how they even made a entire TV show on Disney where like the inspiration was a single joke that had been around where nobody knows if you're a dog on the internet. So then they made a show called Dog with a Blog. And it's just funny how pervasive stuff like that can be to culture.
Anyways, let's see. What is Goodnight Spoon saying? Goodnight Spoon says, I'm going to feed the mantle. Anyone scared off art because of AI happen equals not an artist opportunity. Goodnight Spoon then says, and I demand to be referred to as we. Goodnight Spoon says, so you'll be incriminating yourself every time you refer to me or my actions. Rebecca says, the land of he's and they's, apparently. Apparently.
Well, in the so they has always been classically used to refer to somebody when you don't know because it would be rude. It's like an inanimate object, right? Something that's not human. And you even see in like Shakespeare they use the word like they did it when you don't actually know the person did it. Maybe somebody running around in a cloak. So it's fair. It's just like people misuse that so much now. Because you can use it for a group, you can use it for an unknown entity, but once an entity is known, you're not supposed to use it. So they've added a newer third function of like the words they, them, and their.
Yeah. Well, there are even minor incidences, I believe,
It's like they took a crap on the English language.
even when the entity is known, there's the odd time where they or them is, I think, acceptable. Still.
I mean, so colloquially, almost anything's acceptable, right? That's local customs. But if we're not talking about standard grammar, in which standard grammar is mostly influenced by academics and by art, right? Like plays or art and stuff, things that circulate. Then there really hasn't been a case where that was true up until recently.
Yeah. I just think
But
there's
when speaking to people, you always find exceptions because speech is different than grammatical language.
yeah. Just because there's a couple times, even in with rebellious speech in tonight in the chat, there's been a couple times I think grammatically I could have used the word, but they or them and been right in using it, but
Well,
and I
this is what you could do, Rick. It could always be appropriate if you just pretend you don't know who rebellious is.
Just say pastry or rebellious.
yeah, well, sometimes just speaking naturally, it's not really it doesn't really work. It's a fight to think of Because saying sometimes rebellious just doesn't sound right for a natural way to say it. Sounds weird.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Rick.
Yeah, I know. It's my struggle, something I have to deal with
The struggle's
in
real, y'all.
in trying to be respectful to pastry the most best I can, but also
Right.
also being true to myself at the same time,
Right.
or my beliefs.
I see.
The one part I gotta really get over is being able to say the they or them when it's appropriate,
Well,
when
I can
it's
see why
appropriate.
this is being a trouble. I mean, you have issues with the English language as it is.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
it's not a burn when I know it and it's common knowledge. I don't think it is,
Uh,
anyways.
uh, oh, okay. I thought it was. Maybe I misunderstood.
I mean, he's aware of it enough to ask for an editor, so.
Well, yeah. Admittedly, I need an editor every. When I write a first draft.
I edit my own stuff. I just have to make sure that there's a gap in between, so I look at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah, I always was told that you should give it to someone because of that very same reason. Yeah.
No, you just plan better, right? I mean, if you're somebody who also edits for somebody else, you probably shouldn't get a different editor. That seems like you should be doing what you do professionally. You just have to plan around it. It's like, okay, I need this much time in between before I do the editing, so that it feels like I'm editing somebody else's work.
I don't know how I'd be able to do that when I look at mine because I mean I can only see it through my eyes. So I mean I do catch
Disassociation.
stuff. Yeah, I do catch stuff, but I mean I have to like look at it repeatedly, and it's like, well, if I
Yeah,
can hand it off to somebody else, they'll see stuff that I don't see, and then it works better. Genius can be edited.
yeah. Too bad
Oh,
you're not the genius.
I edit my own stuff in more than just like a grammar thing. Like I'll move things around and stuff. But again, like I disassociate, so I have to let enough time pass between it.
Oh, I see.
But like even if I hand a script off to somebody, I will I always do at least 2.5 passes. I'll do an initial draft, I'll do a second draft edited, and then I have to do another pass before I hand it off. But sometimes I also just periodically and revisit things. So like every 6 months or so, I'll look back at something like, does this need to be edited? So sometimes people get something that's at like 5.5 or 6.5 passes.
I see. Yeah, I'd find that hard to do. That's why I personally need an editor.
Well, it is a discipline, and I mean everybody practices different disciplines. So you need to practice the discipline of editing if you want to edit, whether it's your stuff or somebody else's.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Well, it also helps when you know all the stuff, like where commas are supposed to go and all that stuff. I don't know.
I think a big problem when it comes to that too is that a lot of people aren't told why they're putting commas there when they were taught it, even the first time, whether they forgot it or not. And if you don't understand why you're doing it, you won't notice when it needs to come up, like how there should always be a comma after an introductory clause. But if you don't recognize an introductory clause or know that, you won't put a comma there, That's why, like, in the first pass that I did, I didn't do it in any of the follow-up ones. But in the first pass, you'd see I'd often put, like, why I was calling for the edit. Like, oh, this is a separate clause, or, this sentence should be by itself because these two clauses can't link together.
Yeah, I read all that stuff and I know I've forgotten it already. No offense to Metal.
Yeah, I'm just, I see editing as a consultation job. right? So the person who's hiring can choose to ignore it, but I feel obligated that I need to explain why the things need to be changed.
Yeah.
Introductory clause.
Which I
Let's
did for Tim as well, if he remembers. Like,
Yeah,
especially if I
do.
told him the speech needed to be different, I would explain why I thought the speech needed to be different.
Exactly.
let's see. Rebellia says roast it. Goodnight Spoon says puts a link and says Asimov's first law of internet. That's exactly why they think you want. That's exactly what they want you to think. Good night spoon is quick game before mantling. It's the name that quote.
I'm going
Meaning
to
is
bookmark.
the antidote to pleasure.
I'm going to bookmark that so I can read it later.
Is it? I thought it was the antidote to instant gratification and pleasure seeking. But I guess that's just a shorter version of it.
Hmm.
It's also supposedly the antidote to suffering, but I guess that's kind of the same thing because pleasure seeking, instant gratification just leads to suffering.
Oh, really?
Yeah, normally.
So what is this character you're drawing right here, Rick?
Dragonfly.
Dragonfly. Is that a hero or villain?
Hero.
Oh.
Appears in the second issue of my character, Electide. Oh, and what do you think of the design for the back of the card? Metal.
I didn't pay too much attention to it. I was looking more for like the actual words and the grammatical
Ah, yeah.
aspect to it. I could double check real quick.
I can bring it up. Let
Yeah, I was in work mode.
Let's see. Where is it? Right there.
Oh, cool! Look at that. There's power bars and everything, and
Oh, you'd have to bring
little.
it up. It disappeared. It's-
You can have a card series or something.
Well, this for anybody that got a physical copy, they're getting. This is the back of it. If you remember Eric Nianotowski's art for the Canadian Shield,
Right.
that's going to be the front of a card, a trading card.
yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, the first criticism right off the bat is that people are going to look at this card, and it's
Yeah.
going to make the like double take to figure out the fact that it looks like the graphs are backwards because you have white on green, and you could use white to fill, but people immediately will picture white as the empty part of the graph and green as the filled part. And it will, even though like you could double check, you'll see the numbers, but immediately they're going to think like, "What? The Canadian Shield must be so weak. Look how little the strength bars fill."
How
Yeah.
how
I,
how movable those trees are in the ground?
I was gonna go with red, and then it's like, eh.
That would clash too much. Have you considered using the same colors, just flipping
Yeah.
the white to be the backdrop and green to be the fill?
Yeah. See, that would make
Yeah.
sense.
I could do that easy enough. Yeah, I was just I initially filled them with green, because figure that's supposed to be Cross Comics color, so although it's a brighter green than what the normal Cross Comics color is, so I thought that, and then I'm going to fill them in, and it's like, okay, what should it be? So I end up,
Yeah. I think overall though, that's kind of my only major criticism. Because I know you're gonna want it to be mostly like consistent across it. So like where the Canadian Shield is, you'll just put like the other stories logo and stuff like that.
yeah, like whatever character's name there, hopefully they have a lettering for them, and then try and condense it into this space for uh, their history, or somewhat of history. And I
Now
think
I
it,
know it would be redundant, but if you want to eventually put out more cards, instead of actually using the word like the logo for the Canadian Shield for his name, you should put the Canadian Shield logo in the opposite corner about the same size as the cross comic and actually have the words the Canadian Shield because it's both his title and the name of the story. That way you could eventually do other characters from his story without having to have a different
yeah,
font logo for every single side character that exists.
yeah. Well,
There you go.
I'm just gonna probably do the big one. So like, do like Toxical. Hopefully, eventually have his card. I do gotta put an. I'm thinking I gotta put like a number in the corner. Snowdrift is probably gonna be the next one I do for this. I basically got everything filled out for 1 to 10. What they are, although I need to probably get a definition for each one. The only one that I don't have, all the what it is fighting ability. What all the numbers are. I'm not sure whether, but going over that, I looked at what I figured I'd want for Canadian Shield, and I gotta eventually do that for others. Although I think my cards have one unique category:
What's
wisdom.
that?
Wisdom.
Really? Has that ever been in a card, back of a card metal? Or
I mean, it
is
might
it
have or
cards?
might not have. I'm not like
An
super
aficionado.
familiar with like
Okay.
yeah, with trading cards for characters. Like I've played a lot of trading card games. I've had different things. Like I think I had like some X-Men collector trading cards before.
Yeah.
I've had like a few different ones, but I'm not like well versed. So
Yeah.
maybe somebody did, maybe somebody didn't.
I
Yeah.
could imagine that in like a Marvel's role playing game. I think they had that.
Yeah, in a
Yeah.
role playing game, but like not like these almost like baseball card style
Yeah.
cards that like Marvel and DC did back in the day.
Yeah. Like a lot of these things, like strength, knowledge, or strength, agility, stamina, energy blast. I got off, you know, a set of cards that I have like this for Marvel. You know, although
Yeah. Yeah, those are
it's pretty, um, um, standard ones though. Most of them. Few have different ones have different things on them, but wisdom is not one that I've seen, but because it's slightly different than intelligence or knowledge. It's almost a combining of the two.
Wisdom is experience,
Yeah. Or how, or
and
best,
a really wise man uses somebody else's experience.
or putting, your knowledge, using it like the right way, most likely the right way, or hopefully the right way.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually, like when somebody would say "wise beyond their years," they're talking to somebody who learns by watching,
Yeah.
so they don't repeat the same mistakes themselves.
Yeah, I played with a few different colors for the box behind the power stuff.
Yeah.
Until I got something, a color that, I would make it easy to read. Goodnight Spoon says, I'm super wise. Oh, and
Super
what
wise.
Rebellious wants to know what Flint's sober opinion is about Rebellious.
I'm gonna say exactly the same. Uh, so I don't think people who are drunk are actually different people than when they're sober. I think they just have lower ambition, right? Like
They have
kind
no
of brings out
filter.
parts of you that you would otherwise, yeah, shove into the back corner. And actually, Flit doesn't have much of a filter as it is, at least on the keyboard. But there's usually that barrier of I'm chatting, I'm typing. There's a keyboard behind us. I know, and he even brought this up in the stream. Even when he would jump on the role-playing game with us, he would take like a shot or two just to loosen himself up a little bit to be able to go on stream. Because otherwise, you'd be too anxious. So I
Oh, he
don't
doesn't
think his
like.
opinion's actually different. It's just more reserved otherwise.
He's not. He's not a people person. In other words.
Yeah, but I think I've even suggested this before to people. Even back in the day, some like priests and pastors of larger congregations would take like a little shot of the communion before going up, just you'd be a little looser, less nerves.
I see.
Which especially if you have a large congregation, I don't blame you. That could be a pretty nervous thing to do.
Right. Right.
But hey, maybe if you imbibe in just a little bit of spirit, you can let the spirit flow through you easier.
Wow.
All in moderation, of course.
Right. 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 What's that ability? Is that G ability?
Fighting ability.
Fighting ability. What the heck is that? Is that his inner thug? Is he thugging?
Well, how good he's been,
No,
good to fight.
G ability would just be another way of saying intelligence, right? Because G is what we refer to as like IQ, the general intelligence.
Right.
Okay, so does that look better to you guys?
Yeah, that looks way better.
Yeah, let me go back to Discord. I have yeah.
So, Energy blast is like nothing. It's like just a complete white bar.
No, he's just a flying brick. He punches things.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot anything out especially at this point. I don't think I ever will, but some of
What
this.
about his tree? What about his tree throwing ability?
That's not energy. That's a projectile weapon.
That was due to his strength.
Right, you should put that on there. How fast and accurate he is with trees.
There's his own stat that's only on the Canadian Shield.
Well, that could even be. Well, I'm not even sure whether. Well, that could be another thing for a different one at another time. Accuracy, but would come more into it when fighting or something like that. I don't know exactly. I get basically how it would come into play, but I'm not sure whether.
Space tree.
Space tree. Yeah, one tree comes back after being in space for like millions of years. Comes back to get revenge on the Canadian Shield.
Yeah, but the Canadian Shield would be dead.
Yeah.
I have come to get. Oh, he's dead. Damn it.
I'm not sure whether
And Space Tree would also be dead and frozen.
I just thought it would be a good, interesting tie-in with the first issue. It gains intelligence and comes back for revenge.
Well,
You threw me in the space, you mother. Bleep.
Well, the thing is, when I form my super team, they're gonna build their space station.
Watchtower.
Yeah, watchtower or whatever. Hull of Justice. It's gonna be a space station up near Pluto. Um, you could I could
Oh,
have
even
I could have in it in the background as I'm showing some building of it, the tree going by.
that'd be funny. They could have like a little monument of all the trees that used to be there.
It's stuck in orbit around the sun. It comes back around like every 20 years or so.
Yeah. And you can, and I can even have one of my characters that's building see the tree and say, "How the heck did that
Oh,
tree get here?"
better yet, there was a guy that was flying a plane, and his plane loses a wing because a tree hit it that the Canadian Shield threw, and he spends most of his days plotting his revenge. I'll
But the
get
tree
you,
didn't hit anybody's
Shield.
plane. We saw it go just clear into space without touching anything.
Oh damn it! Well, never mind. Never mind.
The only plane that almost got clipped by the Canadian Shield is when he woke up and sort of jumped up and kept going a little bit, and almost clipped the plane that Christy North or Nancy Brown, who was about to become Snowdrift, was on.
Well, all right then.
But he didn't clip it. They didn't crash. So
Those trees just got thrown into space, and they've been going straight out in space ever since.
there's only been one tree thrown by the Canadian Shield into space.
Yeah, he's only ever the one.
He didn't throw multiple.
No, that's why it's the space tree.
Oh, the space tree. Huh? So what would you say would be the biggest leap from Canadian Shield 1 to Canadian Shield 2? Do you think it's a better story, or do you think they're both equally as good?
Oh, I think number 2 is definitely better. Metals Reddit. What do you think, Metal?
Yeah. Well, I've told you this before, and my opinion has stayed the same after actually seeing it in comic form and not just script. That I thought it was better and should have been the first issue, and then it should have went backwards to tell the origin story.
Yeah.
But this is the order you've already did it in, so yeah, you're hitting the better issue right now.
Yeah, and they're gonna get even better as we go along because the first few are written by at least for Canadian Shield and Snowdrift, not written by me. Once you get into me writing, I think it becomes a lot better. And I'm not sure how many the scripts Metal has read from um, over on Facebook in my group.
It's been a while since I've read anything, but I think for the most part, I read anything that was a number 1
Yeah,
and maybe some number 2s.
yeah. Well, Insecto was written by me. Insecto 1, Flame 1.
And I read that one because I was with Dillard when he was doing his little Bruce Timm style mock-up that one time.
Yeah. And compared to, the 3 scripts that you actually read, seen in comic form at this point, how was Insecto 1 compared to them?
Way better. It's like a night and day difference.
Yeah, so
I mean,
like
this one actually starts off with like an actual problem going. Kind of like with this second issue. There's like a problem going, but like this one starts off with like a legitimate problem starting before the person's even really like a hero, and like, well, that's how a comic should start, you know.
No, I must admit, probably I had a minor bit of influence in the stuff for the first ones, but obviously, just with that, it tells you with my writing style, things will be getting probably better. Although I've got to actually change some stuff in number three. There's some sequence of events to make it better. When rereading it, the second, no, the first clash that they have is not quite as good as what I think it should be. There's some things that don't really make any sense.
Oh, I'm always changing things. Like the actual order of events or whatever, like the story events that happen, I pretty much have always left the same, even from when I first drafted it. I'm just like, oh, but would it be better if I told it this way? And like I'm always like tweaking things and changing stuff, and I'll use like out of order time, right, to tell things better. It's like, oh, but if I flash forward to this and then flash back, that would be more interesting for the audience and stuff like that.
Rebellious. Who's the new person? Of course, I've got Metal here, and I got Timothy. Earlier, I had
Yo.
another friend. Also, I think I wrote the Flame number 1.
Did you?
So even using that compared to if you remember it, how does it?
I don't remember the Flame as much. I know I read it, but I wasn't like actively reading it to help somebody drawing. So like that's why I remember Insecto more.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that noise in the background?
I know you.
Oh, the background noise? They're playing Stardew Valley over there. It's a fun game.
For anybody that's in my Cross Comics group on Facebook, you can read up to the script, although there might be some things change, and they're very rough scripts too. You can read up to issue 6 on there. So you can get a little bit of idea what's coming and, possible characters. Everybody says, my bad, it's been a while for Tim. Yes, it has. Well, I think he's been on after, but we launched his book on here, Melvin, too, a couple months ago, or just over a couple months ago, since it's in demand now, right?
Right, it's in demand.
And that's good. It
Yeah,
also, it made
then he
it.
died, and then we resurrected him, and now he's in a better place.
Yes, I'm in a better place now.
Hey,
Big Raffy.
Joshua says, who's Tim? Timothy Olsen.
That is me. That is who I am. That is who you're talking about.
Creator of the
Melvin.
Infamous Melvin.
Yes.
The maniacal Melvin.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say maniacal, but okay.
Mysterious?
No. Action-packed Melvin. There we go.
Well, I'm trying to do the MM thing.
Oh, it's not working.
The maddening Melvin?
The master.
Magnanimous Melvin.
There you go. That works. Why can't you be like metal?
Hey,
He gets it.
I was going through some M words.
Yeah.
That could be descriptive.
Yes, I see you tried. Good job. You tried. So, what are your plans for this new year, Metal?
I've got a lot of plans,
A
but
lot of
it's gonna
plans?
be rough. So like, so the people know, probably not getting that hard drive fixed. So here's the overall structure. Realms and Relics has been flipped from the manga style reading of right to left to right every single day for the starting on New Year's Day, so a couple days ago, all the way until like the middle of February. The pages are being re-released one at a time, webcomic form. Because eventually I'll be continuing Realms and Relics as a webcomic, as well as I'm working on tour with Mitch and Sandy. The priority is to finish the first chapter of that. It's going to be about 20 pages. Finally, finish those shorts that I was supposed to do for those contests that have been being put off because I was working on them before my hard drive died. And I have to painfully try to color match the already finished parts of them without having like palettes or anything, because I lost that with the hard drive. For that and for the rest of the chapter of Ex Dynamis Chaos that I was working on. But after all of that's caught up, it's going to be try to get out 2 pages a week, 1 page of Ex Dynamis Chaos, and rotating every other week Realms and Relics and on tour with Mitch and Sandy. It's a complicated schedule, but hopefully I can get to it.
Yeah. Rick, what are your plans this year? What do you plan to do?
Well, obviously, as you can see, I'm planning at the moment, hopefully, to have 3 comics come out the 24th again. Um, but I'm
All 3 on one campaign?
Yeah. And also, I'm planning to do a remastered version of number 1. Editing or tweaking some of the artwork, hopefully to make it better, more accurate.
So Canadian Shield #1 special edition.
Yeah, and yeah, so and then I've got other stuff I'm working on for other people, and I've got something that I'm gonna hopefully be bringing to Webtoons. Hopefully by the end of this month, there'll be the first page of Webtoons.
Oh yeah, you're still doing the one panel Canadian Shield one?
Well, it wasn't just Canadian Shield. It was supposed to be various. I haven't been doing that for a while. No, this is going to be a whole comic book. I'm going to be releasing it a page at a time on Webtoons.
Cool.
And it's going to be 36 pages at the moment.
Oh, like a giant size?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the origin of a particular character. I won't say who at this point.
Snowdrift?
No.
Oh, I already did that one.
I want it to be a surprise for people when it is put up on Webtoons. Hopefully, I'll be doing it in between some other work that I have done doing this month.
There you go.
Be working on it at least, hopefully, 1 day a week.
Cool.
And hopefully that'll get me a page done. And when I got to work on other stuff for somebody else. So hopefully when I get that project done for somebody else, that's actually paying me, I'll have more time to work on it. So more pages will be hopefully available.
Yeah.
You know what?
More often.
And then if we're really crazy, I'll try to sucker some artist into working with me on the outstanding Jackrabbit #1 because it's Year of the Rabbit. It would be the perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes, and I knew what you were hinting at, Rick.
Pardon?
I said I know what you're hinting at there. You're on the list of people I need to square things with before I.
Oh no! I wasn't even talking about you. Somebody else has hired me to basically pretty much do everything for their comic book.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Is that the one we were talking about off air?
Yeah.
Is it anybody we're allowed to know about, or is that a secret for right now?
It's not a complete secret. I can't show it all, but I'm allowed. I've asked whether about doing videos, so I'm doing a video for the first page and probably every second or third page. Actually, is it? No, I don't have it up. I'm gonna. I was showing metal this last week. Um, oh, where is it saved? Where did I save it? Do, 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 do. Maybe it's under recent. Hopefully, I'll be able to. So there's. I haven't got the full first page done yet, but
Oh, cool. It's a space thing.
yeah, part of it's gonna be on a planet. I still got a couple panels to finish off or add details on some of the other panels.
Oh, nice. You're doing the out of bounds box like we were talking about.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show it to him both ways. You know, I've got the, as you can see, I've got the box there,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna
Is it going to be one of those
take the box away to show him as well.
those sci-fi movies with like epic space fighting scenes?
I don't know a lot about it. I have all the pages, but I haven't really, and he has the dialogue on the pages. I haven't really read it. Eventually, this is going to be colored as well.
Sweet. Uh,
So,
let me send you a message on Twitter, so I'm just curious. Hold on.
the guy that's hired me, well, I know is the one handle he goes by on, what's the name of it? Discord is Dark Con, which I believe con stands for conversation, because I've seen it expanded other places. So,
I sent you a message on Twitter. Let me know if I'm correct.
no,
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Dario's hired Dillard, so
Oh, really?
Dillard's been doing all his work.
That's what I heard. I also saw a bunch of tweets that suggest there was trouble, but
Well, I don't know about that. Just
what?
unless things have changed since the last time I knew.
Oh, I see.
You
Hopefully
also have
that.
to see who the tweets are coming from. If it's on Dillard's side, he does like some kayfabe.
No, I think it was on Dario's Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he was venting. I think he was frustrated about something because his last tweet was, "Ah, I feel better. I got that off my chest." Something like that.
No, that does sound like Dario.
Yeah. So that's the last time I've ever heard from him, or not heard from him, but
See, if we all just had the airing of grievances on Festivus, we wouldn't have this problem.
I know, right?
But yeah,
A Festivus for the rest of us.
so yeah, I've got a fair bit going on, as you can see.
Yeah.
You know, I've been, I've had, I started that page is just, I just did some yesterday and today on it. He's been wanting me to start for a while, but I had to get most of the Canadian Shield stuff done. Just minor things now, you know, like creating a page for credits and
I
whatchamacallit,
see.
the
Yeah.
the indicia. So, and I gotta find out what's going on with 3D Zach completely.
You haven't heard from him?
I've heard a little bit from him. Yesterday, I think I heard from him. I gave him a message back, and I haven't heard from him from that.
I see.
But other than that, and then I gotta write in Piper's Pulpit here and do something besides white on the background for this page. Any ideas?
Think of a topic.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think things are going good. But with that, it is 5 minutes after midnight. Anything you would like to promote, Timothy?
Check out Melvin #2 on Indiegogo. It's in demand. I think it's worth a backing.
Yeah, you did better on this campaign than you did your last one, so that's good.
Oh yeah, totally did better.
And I guess with that, that's all you need or want to promote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, the vomitorium's tomorrow, so
Yeah.
everybody should come around at 6 Central to the vomitorium. We'll have a good time. But also, since I was talking about it, I'll drop the first or the chapter start for the webcomic page of Realms and Relics on xdynamuschaos.com. There's a few pages up. You can just check back every single day. In case you haven't read it before, maybe you struggle to read modern manga translations because the words go from left to right, but the bubbles go from right to left. Well, here's the old-fashioned 90s style flip version, if that's more your speed.
Oh, so you're not putting this up on Webtoons?
Maybe. If it's already up on Webtoons, I might just go and change the files so nobody's looking.
Nobody's looking.
Okay.
Act like it was always that way.
Anything else, Metal?
No, that's about it. I mean, read anything on my site. Also, like I said, I started the On Tour with Mitch and Sandy, and then you can always just catch up on X Dynamus Chaos. I got a lot of stuff to read there. There's even like novelization stuff, not just comics. Have fun.
Right.
Cool. Okay, so with that, thanks Metal and Timothy and everybody who came on the panel tonight. Thanks for coming on. It's been great having you here. Thanks for everybody in the chat coming by. Been great having you here, talking with you, and hopefully you've enjoyed the conversation. If you haven't, go check out the Canadian Shield 2 and Snowdrift 4 #1. It's still in demand. And check out all the links in the description. There's all sorts of places you can find for me. And I've started back up sort of the verse of the day, verse of the week. So the first one was.
That sounds much more manageable. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I figured in restarting it, I'd just take it slow. Probably more than it's probably going to be more than a verse. And I went the first five verses of Genesis today,
Yeah.
this week.
I have an idea. All the past ones. Why don't you put them in like a what do you call that when you like a playlist?
Oh, they're already in a playlist.
Oh, never mind then.
Okay, so we'll catch everybody later. Bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great week.